Let's move along, shall I? Yes, I shall. Let us go to Scott, Los Angeles, California, the great KABC. Go.
Mark, 3 cheers for the great Obama administration, huh?
Yes, sir.
Woohoo! $4 gasoline in Los Angeles today.
Yes, heading to $4.50. Yeah, well, wait a minute. That's supposed to go down. All right, go ahead.
Going down quickly. Hey, you know, I called your call screener a couple times this week, and I got to tell you.
All right, don't whine about my call screener.
No. He did a great job. He did a great job. But I called one day to talk about Eric Holder and what he said about my people. The next day, it was about Hillary Clinton talking about Al Jazeera. Today, we're talking about the unemployment rate. And I realize that Obama doesn't even have to wait for a long weekend to release bad stuff, because whatever's going to come tomorrow is just going to bury what's happened today.
Mm-hmm.
And the onslaught of stuff coming from this administration is so much that everything is just lost because the next day is something bigger than today.
That's true.
And you just do a fantastic job. I love your book, Liberty and Tyranny. I'm looking forward to the next one coming out, but I don't know how you keep up with it. And, you know, the Eric Holder thing.
By the way, you know what the next book's called?
What's that?
Iacocca. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, you know, the Eric Holder thing just made me sick to my stomach, and that whole. But I realize it's like yesterday's news. It's gone already.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that one's done. Next one. They just keep moving the ball to the left, to the left, to the left.
So keep up the good work, my friend, and let's, 3 cheers again for Barack Obama's great unemployment numbers.
All right, brother. You take care. Let's keep plowing along, shall I? See here. Andrew in New York, WABC. Yes, Andrew.
Mark, how are you, sir?
All right, my friend.
I got to tell you something, Mark. I mean, I'm putting in 11, 12 hours a day, struggling to keep up. I got a house that I bought 6 years ago with my wife that's worth 20% less than it was when we bought it. We want a vacation, but you don't have the money to do it. We keep going on and on like this, and it affects everything else in a ripple effect. Something goes wrong with the plumbing. You wind up doing it yourself because you don't have the extra money to be able to call on a plumber. It just affects every aspect of life.
It's true. And, and that's why with this nonsense about 8.9% and we're turning the corner, we haven't turned any corner.
Yeah, and the guest that was on with Cavuto, said, the Republicans, they should just bend over backwards. Well, the problem is the Republicans are bending over forwards.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, my friend, that's an image. You take care, and good luck to you, too, because you're not the only one. It's tough out there. And I'm not playing the game of Washington and play, well, it went down 0.1%. Kudos, Mr. President. Kudos for what? What the hell has he done to improve this economy? Can you name one damn thing, you liberal fools out there? No, you can't. No. And I'm going to vote for him next time, though, no matter what. Are you kidding me? I have a call from Sunnyvale. I don't even care what the comment section from Sunnyvale, California. We lived in Sunnyvale, California, Anthony, on the great KSFO. How are you?
Mark, how are you doing today?
Good. I lived on a little street in Sunnyvale for not that long, but when we were in California called Waxwing, right next to Lawrence there.
At Lawrence Expressway, yeah, I know it well. I listen to you very often. I knew you used to be out here. I'm also a practicing attorney out here, too. Listen, Mark, I love your show. I love your writing. I really love your legal analysis and the cogent way that you present yourself. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you.
My question.
Yes.
Driving home tonight, listening to you, I hear that Secretary Clinton is now offering water and food and the like for refugees coming out of Libya, and it struck me that how come I never hear that we'll equal what Russia and China offer all the world's poor and destitute? Why are we the ones that are always writing the checks?
Well, let me tell you this. If we wait for the Russians and the Chinese, a lot of people will starve to death. I don't have a problem with trying to help people who are facing death. That has never bothered me. I really don't have a problem. In other words, I'm not talking about redistributing wealth or transforming our society. I'm talking about people who are truly eating dirt. And little kids and babies are carrying on their backs. I don't know about you. When I watch that on TV, my heart breaks. You can call me a knee-jerker. That's fine. But hold on now. It's not like it's going to break us. What's going to break us is the intentional destruction of our economic system. What's going to break us is the war this government has on the private sector. But a couple $100 million for these people who are truly starving to death or don't have anything to drink, it just doesn't bother me that much. In other words, it doesn't bother me that much for us to help them. It bothers me a great deal that they're in that circumstance.
I just never hear equal participation with our level of ethics and humanity from all the big shots in the world.
It's true. You're right. And I'll tell you something else. Isn't it funny to underscore your point, which is the what I think is your point, the inconsistency of this administration. They run to the UN for cover because Obama doesn't know what the hell to do. He doesn't know what the hell to say when it comes to foreign policy. We'll do whatever. We're going to work through the UN. But on other things, he doesn't. So I do get that point. All right, my friend, thank you very much. Is this guy going to yell at me, Mr. Call Screener? Line 4. Mike in Chicago, the great WLS. Go.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just wanted to thank you. A couple Mondays ago, you had Bob Beckle and Sean on, and like Bob, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and even though I love everything that comes out of his mouth politically, I just wanted to thank him for something he said. I tried to email him, but I couldn't find it online. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of the farther you get away from it, the more dangerous it becomes because you forget how bad it was. And I'm not really a religious man, so I don't have a lot to hold on to in that regard, but strangely enough, the words from him, a liberal, are helping a conservative to stay sober. And since he says he listens to your show, I just wanted to thank him for that.
Well, sir, you hang in there, okay? And I want you to know something, and I've said it many times before. I don't agree with anything with Beckle. Well, there are a few things we do when he bumps his head and he moves right, but that's about it. But the man has a huge, huge heart, and he spends a lot of time trying to help people who are addicts of different kinds. He spends a lot of time in his church. Cal Thomas helped to reintroduce him to Christianity. So when a guy spends most of his day doing wonderful things, well, I'm proud to call him my friend.
Yep, you can't knock him for that. Hey, real quick, do you have a real rough idea, like what year your new book might be coming out?
I don't want to talk about it right now because I don't want the backbenchers, but, I'm really spending a lot of time on this. And so maybe in a year or so.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, thanks.
These other guys that have teams of ghostwriters and put out books every 3 months, not only don't I want to do that, I have no ability to do that. I don't know why they do that. I just try to make a number of points. And if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to write a book. All right, my friend?
All right. Have a good weekend.
You too. Chris, Gainesville, Florida, the great WBXY. Go.
Mark, it is an honor and a privilege to be speaking to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are one of my personal heroes, and I do pray for you every day.
Well, thank you. That's kind of you.
I get worried a lot when I hear you speak of your heart. That bothers me. I wish if I was able to give you mine, I would.
No. Thank you. It's pumping along beautifully.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Mark, I wanted to tell you, I say this for Friday, I owed a big thanks to people like you for pulling me out of the liberal purgatory that I spent most of my life in. About 6 or so years ago when all those hurricanes ripped through Florida, I lost the power for about a week there, and I only had power to my radio, and thus I discovered talk radio, and when I started thinking correctly. But I wanted to share with you, one of the things I had to learn to start thinking correctly was I had to learn about the law of unintended consequences, and that's when I started seeing many, many errors in my line of thinking. 2 reasons why I was liberal was because I didn't know any better, and 2, it was easy. It takes a little bit more effort being conservative. You have to use a little bit some foresight, think ahead, see some of the adverse ramifications that certain political policies may have, instead of just thinking of the short-term effects or how it will make you feel that day. And that's one thing when I talk to my other liberal friends, that's the one thing I always tell them. Think about the law of unintended consequences. What can come of this later down the road? The good, the bad, the ugly. And I think if other people embrace that, they would stop thinking so anal retentive and start thinking more conservatively.
Well, this is very well said. The drones, of course, you can't get to them. But there are a lot of people you can get to, and I think you're right. And conservatism is a little more complicated. It's certainly more complicated than liberalism. Liberalism, Chris, basically comes down to two words. I want. That's it. I want. Conservatism is much more complex because what we try to do is really nurture the human being, nurture the individual. That's not what the liberal does. The liberal's always talking about grand schemes and governmental models and all the rest. Thank you, Chris. Good man. We'll be right back. Peter, Long Island, New York, a Democrat. Go.
Mark. Good afternoon, great big one. Nice to hear you again.
Petey, how are you? How's your bakery going?
My bakery's doing just fine.
Yeah? How many people you got there?
I got 7.
How many of them are here legally?
4.
And I assume you have a union there?
No, it's not a union.
Why not? You're a liberal.
I'm definitely a liberal. In fact, I still belong to a union.
Well, why don't you call the union in to unionize your 4 citizens and 3 illegals?
Because the people that are here don't want to be union.
Oh, they don't want to be union?
No, they don't.
Well, why don't you impose a union shop?
No, Mark, I'm a man who believes in freedom.
No, but you're a liberal.
Freedom. No. That's exactly right. I am a liberal. Proud of it. You know what liberal means, Mark? Liberal is somebody who gives freely. Conservative is someone who conserves, who holds back.
All right, look. You have to get beyond Webster's dictionary and maybe delve into some things, like Edmund, like John Locke and Edmund Burke on my side, and on your side, like Engels and Marx and stuff like that. What did you call about, Peter?
Kennedy and
what did you call about?
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay, okay.
And in the Tea Party,
the great general was a big liberal, huh?
State, wouldn't he?
How can I help you?
Mark, I just called to see how you were. I heard that you were having some health problems. I was just calling out.
No, I'm not having any health problems. I'm doing great.
Oh, okay, good. Glad to hear it.
Now, have you ever sent me a sampling from your bakery? No.
Mark,
you're liberal. You say you like to give things.
No, I do, and I really would, but honestly, truly, if I sent you something, would you eat it, or would you feed it to your enemy?
Peter, you've called for many, many years, and you've always been a very nice man.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, now go ahead and unionize your 4 legals and drop the other 3.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Aren't you a union member?
I am.
Right? Why did you
They sucked the money out. I didn't have a choice.
Sure you do.
Broadcasting is a union shop.
Well, in every state? You mean you don't work in a state that has right-to-work laws?
My company is headquartered in New York.
Okay. And couldn't you work for a company that's not headquartered in New York?
Yeah, I'm going to come work in your bakery. That way I can avoid the whole thing because you have a liberal shop. All right, Peter, we got to go. We'll be right back.